You know you should take control, but somehow every day slips away. You plan, you promise yourself, and yet nothing changes. Most people think discipline means trying harder, pushing through, forcing themselves. But here's the truth. Discipline isn't effort. It's identity. Studies in 2023 show over 70% of adults fail to maintain personal goals because they lack an internal sense of self-discipline. Imagine waking up every morning with a plan to exercise, focus on work, or stick to a routine, and by nightfall, the list is untouched. Effort alone can't overcome a sense of identity that says, I'm not the disciplined type. Part of you knows what to do, but another part rebels. That inner conflict drains your energy. It's not just tiredness, it's a battle inside your own soul. Carl Jung said, what you resist persists. The parts of you you ignore grow in the shadows. So what if the problem isn't your willpower, but your identity itself? What if the version of you that's strong, organized, and decisive has been waiting, hidden all along? Stay with me because in just a few minutes, you'll discover how to finally reconnect with that version of yourself and never avoid discipline again. Sometimes it feels like your inner self is playing hide and seek, and it's winning every round. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about becoming the person who naturally acts disciplined. Meet Rachel, 29, running a small NGO. Every morning, she plans her day meticulously. By evening, she feels defeated. Her to-do list barely touched. Most people think, I'll just try harder tomorrow. But effort alone never works because identity drives behavior, not the other way around. 70% of adults fail to sustain personal goals due to a weak sense of internal discipline. Rachel's story proves this. She didn't lack willpower. She lacked an identity that embraced discipline. Her mind kept saying, I'm just not the type who follows through. When you see yourself as someone lazy or easily distracted, every attempt to change feels like fighting yourself. Your actions conflict with your identity, and every failure strengthens the undisciplined part of your mind. This inner tug-of-war drains energy, creating frustration and guilt. But here's the key. Discipline starts with who you are, not what you do. You can't create lasting habits if your mind believes you're incapable. You must first embody the identity of a disciplined person, and the behaviors will follow. Rachel started small. She didn't push harder. She began identifying as someone reliable, someone who follows through on even tiny tasks. One morning, she told herself, I am a person who keeps promises to myself. That simple shift changed everything. Tasks became easier. Habits became automatic. Imagine waking up, not needing an alarm for motivation, because your identity already aligns with your highest self. Your disciplined self isn't a struggle. It's simply who you are. Part of building this identity is recognizing the resistance inside you. The lazy, procrastinating part isn't evil. It's protective. It shields you from past disappointments, fear of failure, and rejection. Integrating these parts of yourself allows discipline to become effortless. You honor the protective side, while the stronger, organized version takes the lead. Ever notice how the part of you that wants to binge Netflix seems louder than the CEO version? It's true, but it doesn't have to win. The transformation isn't about punishment or self-denial. It's about connecting with your core potential. When you embody discipline as identity, effort becomes natural, consistent, inevitable. Next, we'll explore why so many of us feel torn inside, why the disciplined self feels hidden, and how to reunite these parts for a truly unstoppable inner force. Even when we know what to do, the disciplined self often feels hidden, repressed by fear. Meet Alex, 34, a freelancer constantly promising himself deadlines he never meets. He wants to build, to create, to achieve,
but another part of him resists. This split creates conflict. One half craves growth, the other seeks comfort, avoiding failure. Every unfinished task, every delayed project intensifies guilt, deepens inner division. Psychologists explain this as the split soul phenomenon. When your inner selves are at odds, energy drains quickly, not from work, but from internal friction. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists. The ignored parts grow in shadows, shaping behavior subconsciously." The strong, organized, decisive aspects, your inner king, warrior, or architect, are often suppressed. They fear failure, rejection, criticism. Past experiences reinforce this hiding. A new habit, a new challenge, suddenly feels like a threat, not an opportunity. A 2022 behavioral study found 68% of adults failed to maintain routines because of internal conflicts. Alex starts a new morning routine, motivated and ready. By day 3, fear of discomfort sabotages him. Effort alone can't free these inner leaders. They've been hiding behind protective patterns. Integration is the key. Discipline doesn't mean destroying the lazy or fearful part. It means listening. These parts protected you from past pain, disappointment, or failure. Acknowledging them allows the organized, powerful self to emerge naturally. Alex tried it differently. He recognized the resisting part as a messenger, not an enemy. He would pause, ask, "What are you protecting me from?" Then he gently reassured that failure wouldn't define him. Over weeks, behaviors changed. Tasks previously daunting became approachable. Discipline wasn't a battle. It became a natural extension of his identity. It's funny how the "I'll do it tomorrow" part always has snacks ready, like it's running a motivational seminar of its own. Repressed inner strength is normal. Everyone has it. The difference between those who fail and those who succeed is learning to reunite these internal parts. You don't fight your inner resistance. You invite it to collaborate. By understanding the root of your avoidance, you reclaim your power. Your disciplined self rises, not through brute force, but through integration. And when that happens, motivation isn't external, it's intrinsic, a quiet, unstoppable force. Next, we'll explore practical ways to integrate these parts, to make discipline effortless, habitual, and deeply satisfying, so you no longer battle yourself every single day. Once you recognize your inner split, the next step is integration. Meet David, 32, a software developer who struggles with consistency. He starts projects with passion, then abandons them midway. The disciplined, organized part of him waits quietly, hidden behind fear of failure. Integration doesn't mean eliminating the resisting part. It means understanding why it exists and inviting it to cooperate. David realized his procrastination was protecting him from past criticism. Every time he pushed, he felt judged, and the inner rebel would fight back. A 2021 neuroscience study revealed that people who acknowledge internal conflicts maintain goals 60% longer than those who ignore them. When David paused to understand his resistance, something shifted. He began listening to the lazy part, asking what it needed to feel safe. By addressing these fears, his disciplined self could finally act without friction. Integration is like merging multiple versions of yourself. The builder, the protector, the visionary, all working in harmony. When aligned, discipline is no longer a battle. It becomes a natural rhythm of life. David started a small morning ritual, 5 minutes of reflection, acknowledging his fears and affirming his capabilities. Then, he tackled one important task immediately, while the inner rebel observed without interference. Over time, this ritual rewired his brain to see discipline as identity, not punishment. Funny enough, his inner rebel now even cheers him on, though occasionally still complains about mornings. The disciplined self thrives when it's respected and integrated. Trying to force habits without reconciliation creates tension and eventual burnout. Discipline is not punishment, it's loyalty to yourself. Another key insight: discipline is also a psychological architecture. It's a system that protects your mind and soul, helping you act consistently with your values. Every small ritual, every chosen action reinforces who you are and safeguards your potential. David's change wasn't overnight. It required patience, self-reflection, and small, consistent steps. But once integration occurred, his actions no longer felt like struggle. They felt like a return to his natural state. When you align your inner selves, every task, every decision, every action becomes an expression of your identity. Discipline transforms into a series of meaningful rituals. You don't just follow routines, you embody values, protect your future, and honor your potential. Next, we'll dive deeper into how past pain shaped your undisciplined self, and how forgiveness and self-acceptance can awaken your full potential, so that discipline becomes not a choice, but your natural state of being.
Your past shapes your present discipline, but it doesn't define your identity. Meet Sarah, 28, a marketing strategist haunted by early failures and criticism. Every time she tried a new routine, old voices echoed, "You'll fail again." These experiences created a protective part, her lazy self, designed to avoid disappointment. Discipline isn't about fighting this part. It's about acknowledging it, forgiving yourself, and reintegrating your inner power. Sarah realized her resistance was not weakness, it was protection. By listening, she began healing old wounds and reclaiming her inner strength. A 2020 psychology study found that self-compassion increases adherence to long-term goals by over 50%. Sarah applied this by affirming, "I honor my past, and I am capable now." This shifted her identity from someone who avoids to someone who acts with clarity and purpose. Actions followed automatically, because identity drives behavior, not the other way around. She even laughed when her inner critic tried to sneak back, saying, "Not today, buddy." Next, she integrated her inner builder, warrior, and protector. She created small rituals, morning planning, reflection, and gratitude that strengthen alignment. Discipline became a reflection of her wholeness, not a punishment or checklist. Every task completed reinforced identity. Every ritual protected her potential. Past pain shaped the undisciplined self, but it is not you. Forgiving yourself for procrastination, for mistakes, for fear, unlocks the path to your true self. Discipline emerges naturally when all internal parts feel acknowledged, respected, and aligned. This is the essence of identity-based discipline. You don't act against yourself, you act with your integrated self. Behaviors are no longer random or forced. They reflect your core values and vision. Carl Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming whole.
Discipline is the tool, the architecture, the ritual that restores internal order. When your inner selves are reconciled, you live not in reaction, but by deliberate choice. You reclaim sovereignty over your mind, your energy, and your life. Sarah now approaches every day with intention. She no longer fights herself. She collaborates with every part of her inner world. Morning routines, work habits, personal projects all flow naturally. Discipline is no longer a goal. It is her identity. The path is clear. Forgive the past, integrate your inner selves, and embody discipline as identity. When this happens, procrastination, avoidance, and inner conflict dissolve. You reclaim your strength and finally become the person you were always meant to be. Next, we'll explore how to take this transformation further, how to solidify these habits, rituals, and identity shifts so discipline becomes effortless, natural, and deeply fulfilling. Now that you've seen how discipline comes from identity, integration, and inner alignment, imagine a method that helps you clear the blocks holding you back effortlessly. This is where Ho'oponopono certification comes in. Ho'oponopono is a modern, practical system that guides you to release internal conflicts, heal past pain, and reconnect with your true self. It's taught by experts like Dr. Joe Vitale, Dr. Ihaleakala Halen, and Matthew Dixon, combining centuries of Hawaiian wisdom with contemporary coaching techniques. Through 8 video lessons and a detailed guidebook, you'll learn step by step how to forgive, integrate, and reclaim your inner power. Every practice reinforces your identity. Every exercise restores harmony within. By the end, your discipline will feel natural, no struggle, no force, just flow. Here's why this works. When internal resistance dissolves, your behaviors follow automatically. Your routines, focus, and consistency aren't about effort anymore. They reflect your integrated self. Just like Rachel, Alex, David, and Sarah discovered, real transformation begins inside. And yes, even your inner lazy self might end up cheering you on, eventually. You can start immediately, online, at your own pace. With a 60-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk, only the opportunity to experience freedom. Imagine waking up tomorrow calm, focused, and fully aligned with your true self. No more procrastination, no more guilt, just consistent, effortless progress toward your goals. Thousands have completed this program, receiving an internationally recognized certificate, able to apply the techniques personally or professionally as a certified coach. It's a chance to not just change your habits, but transform your identity, reclaim sovereignty over your life, and live in harmony with your inner selves. So here's your invocation. Take the step today. Reconnect with your inner power. Integrate yourselves and embody discipline as identity. When this happens, procrastination, avoidance, and inner conflict dissolve. You reclaim your strength and finally become the person you were always meant to be. Your disciplined, integrated self is waiting. All it takes is one choice: to start the journey and never avoid your true potential again.